before Dad. He owns a textile mill and lives in a large house in Hempstead, not far from the temple. I think that, like Dad, he moved his family to Long Island, thinking it would be nice to have a private house in the suburbs. And now his son can't get into a decent college. Dad decided the schools in West Hempstead are not good enough. That's an understatement. I think he also started to worry about our Jewish education. He's not really religious, but he's a strong Jew, always raising money for Jewish things. We moved from Brooklyn to a town with few Jews, and Dad has no clue about being a Jewish kid here. He works 6 days a week, and I doubt he has ever set foot on Hempstead Avenue. He knows nothing about my fights and how much Stephen gets picked on. The house and what goes on in the neighborhood would be Mom's territory, but Stephen has never said anything, and I won't. The principal of the yeshiva, Rabbi Charney, met with us last week. He is tall and built really solid, as though he might have been an athlete once. His hair is black with gray along the sides, and he has soft, pouchy brown eyes. He had teachers test me in English and Hebrew. For English, Mrs. Feldstein asked about books I had read, and she didn't believe me at first when I'd said I'd read The Call of the Wild, The Count of Monte Cristo, and Gulliver's Travels. That is, until she quizzed me about Gulliver and Lilliput. And I didn't tell her about all the other books, almost 2 a week from the Hempstead Public Library. "Well, this is really unusual," she said. "Some of these are not even in the high school curriculum. Mrs. Eliason asked me to read Hebrew. I had been going to Beth Israel Sunday School since I was 6, and I could read Hebrew pretty well. Then she tested me to see if I understood Hebrew words. We never learned that in Sunday school. She told me that at Yeshiva, Hebrew language is taught from 1st to 4th grades. But if I am accepted, I would be entering 5th grade when the boys studied Talmud all morning, so I would need to catch up. Dad's Uncle Itcha learns Talmud every day. It is 63 books of Jewish law written nearly 2,000 years ago. I never studied Talmud. What is the point of spending half a day on ancient laws? They didn't have modern tools or weapons then. It was pretty much swords, and no phones and electricity or cars. I was really hoping they wouldn't accept me. It would be almost 4 hours of travel a day into a foreign country like Mongolia, where they probably eat lizards and raw chicken. Then Mom and I waited for the edict, and of course, my bad luck, Rabbi Charney said he really wanted me in the school, and he would pay close attention and make certain it is a good experience. He told me he would make sure I'm in Mrs. Sonnenberg's class in English. She will love having such a strong reader in her class, he promised. But he couldn't make a final decision until I studied Hebrew all summer with Mrs. Eliason, who would then recommend whether or not to accept me. This will be my 2nd Hebrew lesson. Mom exhales thick curlicues of smoke. She holds the cigarette aloft between her right index and middle fingers, swings it to her mouth, and pulls in deeply again. Her fingernails are all bitten down so low there is hardly any nail left. We are on the Belt Parkway nearing the Van Wyck exit in Queens, and the car shoots up a quick incline and hits a big bump. My stomach lifts with it, acid quickly backing into my throat. I am terribly nauseated and taste my breakfast eggs. "Humph," Mom says, blasting onto the Van Wyck. She drives really fast, where Dad drives like a toad, and whenever we are on a family outing he goes even slower, and she is always yelling at him to stay in one lane and not to take that exit. By now I think he will do the opposite of anything she says. We are seated at Mrs. Eliason's small round glass kitchen table in a tiny kitchen. She is several inches taller than Mom's 5'5", and much thicker hipped, and wears a baggy, long cotton dress, brown with several flowers imprinted. Her hair is frizzy gray, pulled up in a tight bun. She is 45 years old, as I saw in a document on her library shelf, but she looks almost as old as Grandma Katie, who is 65. Some adults age much faster than others. I see that working in Dad's store. Dad looks 10 years younger than Uncle Ira, but their age difference is only 4 years. She begins almost immediately. "Let's see how you did on your homework," she says. Mom is sitting nearby. "Can you tell me what Abba means?" "Sure. Father," I answer. "Talmid?" "Student." "Great. How about Maher?" I am stumped. Mom grimaces and I say, "That is not in the lesson book." "True," she says, "but I was checking to see if you studied ahead." I see the deal now, and this is going to be a tough summer. Then I get several questions right, and with a wide smile, Mrs. Eliason claps. "Let me ask a question about your English reading. The report says you've read several Joseph